Ralph Havens, Mission Hills Physical Therapy, and part of running Transformational Downloads here in San Diego. And I get asked the question, what is it that you do? So people come to our office and they see me do some things where I'm putting my hands on them or I'm putting my hands around them. We're checking certain things about their pain and then checking it later, and things transform and things change and people improve, sometimes rather quickly, as in a few seconds or a few minutes. And so what I'm left with sometimes is people ask me, what is that you're doing? What is going on, and why is it changing so fast? It's quite remarkable sometimes, because I've seen people come in with chronic pains. I had a lady just the other day with chronic back pain, chronic leg pains, severe and debilitating and months of duration, and nobody had helped her up to this point. And when she's interacted with me during our 1 hour first session, her symptoms all went away. She had one little place of pain, just a tiny place on her front of her hip, but all of her back pain, her leg pain was gone, and she was walking freely for the first time in months. And her husband was surprised, but they were also very confused. So in fact, that's the word they used. But every once in a while we get people that even though their pain goes away, their mind is not quiet. Their mind still has these questions of what just happened. So I want to talk a little bit today about what is it that I do with my hands? What is it that we do with our hands? What goes on in here? And why is it that we have such fast changes with people, with the thing that they came in for, their pain pattern or their condition? And why do so many other things change in their life and their environment as a result of coming into our office? What I want to talk about right now is, what do we do with our hands? What are we doing when we're interacting with people here? Here at Mission Hills Physical Therapy, we use a technology. It's a consciousness technology, in that it's not a method. We use something called matrix energetics, and it's a body of work that was developed, actually more found and expanded upon by Richard Bartlett, a chiropractor and a naturopath based in Seattle, teaches seminars all over the country, all over the world, and we're certified in his method now and certified study group leaders as well. But we use that as what we quote unquote do. And I say quote unquote do because it's not about doing, it's different than that. What we do is interact with a person in a certain way where anything's possible. And I'm being vague on purpose, in that if I define it, it's not quite that anyway. It's much more than that, and it tends to attempt to limit that. So in much the same way we do with our hands is to experience it. That being said, there are some explanations that allude to what it's all about. So those explanations can be in quantum physics, in spirituality, in ancient healing modalities such as Qigong. Basically, what we feel we're doing is accessing a state where healing already occurs, where it's already done, where there is nothing to do. And it sounds a little funny until you notice that you come in a certain way and then you no longer have your pain when you leave, or your condition is greatly changed, and a lot of other things in your life are different. Relationships can be different, finances can be different, things can start to shift in positive ways as a result of this. And there's a reason for that. It's called entanglement in the physics world, but it's that everything is connected, like a web. And you interact with the web in one way, and the rest of the web changes a little bit. With matrix energetics, we're looking at this web of light and information, the whole condition as a whole, and seeing what would it take to make it different. Where would it be useful to change something so that the rest of it can change? And then we check something in the quote-unquote real world. So we'll check a range of motion, or we'll see what hurts on somebody. We'll interact with them so that everybody in the room is clear what hurts and what doesn't hurt, and then we'll do this thing, this matrix energetics, where our hands are kind of close to somebody or on them or interacting in some way, and access this state. Then we get to see, okay, so let's trust that that's done, but let's also verify. So we'll recheck ranges of motion, we'll check pain, we'll see how are you doing, what does it feel like now, and by doing that over and over and over and over again, over the months and years of doing this therapy or this technology, what we've noticed is things change consistently, reliably, reproducibly. So in the end, we don't really know all of what we're doing, but what we feel we're doing is we're accessing infinite potential. When we look at some of the science supporting it, the science comes from quantum physics, but it comes from the quantum physics and some of the things that you see in that world that are unexplained. Short answer, what do I do with my hands? I access a state in the client and in the area where anything's possible. Once I access that state, anything's possible, everything's already done. Then I can interact with the person in a certain way that's much more powerful. It looks energetic, it's not running energy, but it is something to do with that infinite potential that's in a vacuum, the infinite energy that's in a vacuum possibly, or something to do with the space that everything is in. Not the stuff, but the space. Who knows? But bottom line is we access this certain state and then things change. Once we feel that there's a nice shift or something has changed to our liking, or it feels like, oh, that feels like a nice place to check in, we recheck with the client and we check ranges of motion, how they're feeling, if their pain is still there or if it's gone, what they've noticed that's different. At that point, what we've noticed over the years is that people's lives transform. So what we do with our hands isn't as important as what we access. And when we access it, we notice that a lot of stuff changes. The best way to know it is to experience it. So there's many ways to do that with us, and that's available in other parts of the website. But I wanted to give you a brief idea of what I do with my hands, what we do, and why people improve so quickly in so many ways. Not just what they came in for, but also other seemingly unrelated things in their life, their relationships, their finances, their jobs, their happiness factor. And that's the nice starting point. Thank you.